When I was a child, I used to wonder if there was any way I could perform better in my exams without having to study a lot. One day, I found a book called Learn How to Study by a guy called Derek Rountree. This book suggested a technique for studying called the SQ3R Method. I started using this technique and was surprised by its effectiveness. Today I thought I would just share that technique with you as well. The reason why you should consider this method is twofold. First, it helps you focus better on the topic and thus enhances your comprehension. Second, and equally important perhaps, it helps you retain the information better. As a result, your study gets more efficient. So let's discuss SQ3R. But before that, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and smash those subscribe and like buttons to get more informative videos. What is SQ3R? SQ3R stands for survey, question, read, recall, and review. This method originally was put forward by a time-honored American educational psychologist, Francis Robinson, in 1946. Ever since, it has been extensively used by students through the generations and at all levels. There's adequate research to suggest that SQ3R is an effective way to study a textbook for exams. It's also a very simple way and can be easily incorporated in your own study. And I'm going to explain that now. First, survey. Suppose you have to read a book. Instead of starting from page 1 and reading all the way through to the last page, the SQ3R method recommends surveying the book first. That means you just skim through the pages to get the feel of what's inside. What are the chapters? What are the topics? How is the book organized? And so on. Of course, this applies to a chapter or a short topic as well. You just get a bird's eye view. This allows you to see a zoomed out perspective before you start zooming in for specifics. Doing it the other way around runs the risk of being bogged down in details without having a chance to see the picture as a whole, the big picture, as they say. Therefore, whenever you decide to study something, first preview it. Skim through the pages and get a general feel. That's called survey. Second, question. Now that you have dipped your toes in it, it's still a bit early to dive in deep. Now you should ask yourself a few questions about the topic. It's best to ask questions like, what is this topic? Why is it important? What are the different parts or components of this topic? This stage is crucial as this lets you approach the reading with some questions or problems. Again, research suggests that problem-based learning is a superior way of learning. Do not worry at all to ask all the questions relevant in the start. Just make sure you have enough queries to keep you anchored in the reading, which is the next step in the SQ3R method. The third step, or the first R, is for reading. Now that you have reviewed the topic and your curiosity has been fired by some burning questions, it's time to dig in. Read the topic. There's no hit and fast rule as to how you should read. It depends on the complexity of the subject. Usually, 2 times is enough. If the subject is very simple, however, you can just read it once in order to grasp the material. Sometimes, though, you may need to read more than twice, and that's okay. It pays to improve your reading speed. Perhaps we can talk about that in another video. It's important also to be able to read silently. Sometimes, however, reading multiple times and reading aloud can help memorize factual information such as formulas and scientific or uncommon words. The second R is for recall. Recall means bringing to your attention previously learnt information. This can be done in two ways. First, you can just tell yourself what you have learnt and answer the questions you had put to yourself before. Another method to recall is to do so by jotting down all the important information. By writing instead of reciting, usually you make sure that the most important points have been committed to memory and no point has been overlooked. Also, this way of writing can help you have notes which can be of tremendous help later on when you are revising for the exam. The final R is for review. Once you have finished, go back to your book to quickly review the information and to ensure nothing is missed. It's necessary to revise what you learn regularly. Multiple exposures to information is definitely the best way to retain it for longer rather than just learning something once only. To summarize, then, SQ3R is an excellent way to study for an exam. In order to master a topic through this technique, you first survey or preview it by giving it a bird's eye view, and then ask yourself an important question, which you hope can be answered by reading the text. Next, you recall the information, and finally you review it to make sure you have not missed anything. Try this method, and I guarantee it will work for you. Do tell me about it in the comment section. Thank you.